Hey guys, today's actually gonna be a little bit different, being the fact that I don't know, I'm just gonna kind of tell a ghost story, but a true ghost story that happened to me. And basically, I was 20 years old, and this was back in 2010. And at the time, I was living with, my parents, my brother, my father, my mother, and our family dog. And I was also working at my local Kmart, which is, again, it's no longer here. So, anywho, I was basically taking a shower, getting ready, getting myself situated, putting on my uniform, making sure I had my, driver's license, all of this stuff, and, food as well. And, I was basically, I had my door open because at the time I think my sister was more, she was more like out a lot. So we, when I was home, she really wasn't home. So, it was only like that kind of pass by, like the whole like, hi, bye, all that jazz. Anywho, so I was getting ready for work, making sure I had everything, you know, telling my mom that I was leaving, taking I think I had a Ford Focus back then. And, I was just, I was getting ready to head out the door. But then I went back into my room because I forgot something. I forgot to put, I think it was either perfume or something, or whatever. So I went back in the room and I kid you not, I literally, I was looking on my sister's bed and I was like, okay, I was like, I know, my brother is in his room playing video games. My mother's, she's out in the living room with, the family dog. And I think my father was either downstairs or he was working on something. And I was like, okay, why is there a dent in my sister's bed? I was like, I know, I was like, in my head, I was like, I know nobody was here. That's all I kept telling myself. And, I just kind of, I brushed it off and I was like, okay, I was like, maybe that's just my imagination. Maybe it's whatever. But then when I was in the room, I started smelling like cigarette smells. And I'm like, okay, we don't smoke. I was like, so I definitely know that it's, I was like, I definitely know that it's not anybody. I was like, I didn't see, I was looking around. I was like, nobody smokes. There's no cigarettes. There's no anything. And I was like, my windows were closed and in my bedroom. And I was like, okay. I'm like, don't panic. I was like, maybe it's just, again, I was like, maybe it's just your imagination. So, I ended up going back and forth in my room for a few because I had to, that I forgot that I needed to, I don't know, I was doing other stuff. And when I went in it again, I sat on my bed and I sat on my sister's bed. And I forgot to tell you in the beginning. In 2010, I lost my grandmother, who was basically like my best friend, my life, my world. And when she was here, I used to we used to talk. We used to talk about, the future. We used to talk about just 20s music. I mean, Frankie Lyman, 50s music, stuff like that. I used to just talk about all of this stuff and as well as serious topics. And, she was the one that I went to for any advice. So, anywho, I sat on my bed and I was just looking at my sister's bed because, like I said, the dent was still there and the cigarette smell was really, really strong. And, when my grandmother was alive, she always, she was always laying in her bed and she always smoked. And, I was just like, okay, I'm not gonna, I was like, I'm not gonna basically be afraid. So, I looked and like I said, the dent was still there and the cigarette smell was there. And I was like, you know what? I was like, my grandmother's here. I was like, I know she's basically telling me that everything's going to be all right and, you know, continue on with my life. Excuse me. And, and just, just be me, basically. And, as soon as I turned around, when I got up to leave, the smell of the smoke was gone, and the indent that was actually in my sister's bed, that was gone. And, I was like, I think, let me see. Yeah, so basically, once that was all gone, I turned around and I was like, thank you, Grandma, for basically checking on me. I love you, and, rest in peace. And, after that day, I never I never smelled the smoke, and I never saw the indent ever again. And I mean, like I said, I told my mother about it, and I mean, she was just like, yeah, she was like, yep. She was like, your grandmother was definitely there. And like I said, it's bittersweet, but I know that she's no longer in pain. And like I said, it's 11 years, but like I said, not a day goes by that I don't miss her. And anywho, I just wanted to share an actual ghost story that happened to me. So I hope you guys have a wonderful night and take care.